Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Haritha and my kunya is Salim. Welcome to my channel. It's been a while. hmm But well, since none of you asked of me, anyway, how are you? Hope you're fine. Hope you are in a good state of health and iman. Hope everyone around you is also fine. I traveled home. The last 3 to 4 videos I posted were shot, in my state at home. Before I went home, my mommy had already informed me about the death of one of her friends. May Allah forgive her sins and grant her Jannah. I mean, she was such an amazing person. So anyway, fast forward to that very day, my mommy called me. I had not traveled at that time. My mommy called me and said, "Oh, this woman had been rushed to the hospital." I understand. But anyways, I asked what happened, and my mommy said they said she just collapsed. Her children said she just collapsed and they rushed her to a nearby hospital. I said, okay. Now, a little background story to this is that that woman really worked hard. She worked so hard. She was into, here and there trying to meet up with, stuff to cater for her children. You were wondering, wasn't she married? She was. She was married. But, I don't know how polygyny is everywhere, but especially in Nigeria. I don't want to say Africa, but I could say Africa as well because I know a lot of African sisters who also, testify or agree to certain things happening in Nigeria as something that also happens in their countries. Nigeria, polygyny in Africa, let me say Nigeria, polygyny is Nigeria is on a red line. Let me put it that way, it's on a red line, very, very far from a green line. Is heavily abused, and it's, see, you can see someone who does not even offer salah, who probably doesn't even fast in the month of Ramadan, but when it comes to saying the Quran says we should marry 4 wives, you'd be so amazed. And the danger of just knowing something that benefits you without really knowing other things around it is that you may not do that thing very well. The exceptions here is a man who is into polygyny and doing it well. That's the exception. The norm is that men just dabble into polygyny and, oh, I think here sometimes I'm forced to believe that a lot of men go into it just for show off. Like, oh, he's married to 2 wives. I have 2 wives. I have 3 wives. In fact, I'm planning to add the fourth one now. So that is why polygyny is also heavily, fought in this part of the country because you can barely point at a good example. It's unfortunate. You can barely point at a good example. Do you understand? So back to the story. This woman, of course, is married, and the husband, provides. That's like I said. A lot of our men understand that you can have 4 wives, you can have 3, you can have 2. But a lot of them don't understand that the responsibility of the house, regardless of the number of wives or children you have, is 100% yours. So because our women know how these men operate, our women have, have been forced to, yes, fend for themselves. You have to be out there. You have to work yourself out. So that you can, compensate. Whatever he's bringing in, whatever percentage of the total responsibility he's able to shoulder, you can support with your own. Now, this woman, like I said, she was working really hard. She would make pap. She was hawking, just doing here and there. And the stress was quite a lot because she has kids. I think like 5 children. So she has kids to cater for. And definitely this man is not doing bad financially. If he had stuck to just her as his wife and just cater for the children they have, I believe that with what he has, he would have been able to take care of the house well. You understand? However, it gets to a point. Our men, like I said, our men get to a point where they feel like, oh no, I'm at this status I am right now. I should be answering a man to multiple wives, not a man to one wife. More like collection of properties. So he went on to take another wife, and of course, whatever he was doing before with what he has, would definitely even go lower than what he would be able to do now because there is another woman in the picture. So and there's also another thing here. Women, when the man builds a house and he keeps the first wife there, when he marries the second wife, he keeps the second wife out, of course, in a rented apartment for the ones who are not forcing them to stay together. So there is this I don't know if to say it's pride. There's this thing about people saying, "Oh, at least you are the main wife. You are the one in his built house. You're the one in his built apartment." Forgetting that she's now even taking 50% of her responsibility, even though she's in the house. But the advantage. I also understand where people come from. That, oh, at least you won't be paying rent if this man ever comes with, oh, I don't have money this year to pay rent. There's no you don't have to go and look for money again to support him in paying the rent of where you stay. So at least that rent has been catered for. I mean, it's a thing, so I can understand. Um. Anyways, the stress was a lot. I don't know. She became hypertensive as time went on. That was it, Sha. She had a BP crash, and that was what caused the collapse. And she was taken to the hospital. Eventually, I think a week later, she returned to Allah. And all this whole long story I've narrated is just to give you, idea on how things are around here. But that isn't even the main thing, right? So while she was alive, she and her co-wife don't see eye to eye. Like a lot of our men, see, that's why polygyny going well in Nigeria, we take it might never even happen to the end of time. We might never ever have a good percentage of healthy polygyny or positive polygyny in Nigeria. If I'm being realistic till the end of time, because um the way a lot of our men go about it, the wives can't just even be cool. So this woman and the wife and his co-wife, they don't see eye to eye. They don't even talk at all. Now, after she returned to Allah, what happened? The house she thought, people were maybe not her, but the house. A lot of people probably, made to look as though that is her house. She's the one there. She left the house now, and the second wife has now moved into the house because I mean, would the man be paying rent when he has somewhere he can move her into? The second wife is now in the house now. And the very important part of this whole story is that she is now the one looking after the children. She still have, preteens and teens, and you understand. So, of course, children who need to be parented, you understand. Children who need the presence of a woman, of a mother figure. So she is the one now. Now she cannot come, she's not here to dictate or to choose or to wish, oh, this should not be done to my children, this should be done to my children. And now, this is where it gets to me, and sometimes I like to tell us as women that let's take it easy. Voila, I'm sorry if you're a man and you work to this point. I say something a lot and I want to say it now. I do say it. I said men are not worth it. To be honest, they are not, because the enmity and the lot of issues that exist between women in the name because of a man is just too much and it's not worth it. Now, this woman, if she's a kind-hearted person, a good person, it's just that kindness and goodness of hers, and if she has the fear of God, that would help her to treat these children right, you know. Because even if she chooses to maltreat them or treat them wrongly, deprive them of their rights and all of that, this is not a man that I would call responsible to even know what is happening to his children. He didn't even know when the mother was alive. So is it now he's going to know the true state of these children? So this woman right now is the one in the picture. She is the one with your kids, the children you labored so hard for, the children you were everything for, and all of that. Then when women also stress so much, see, marrying a responsible man, I say it a lot, is not negotiable. But like someone said, how many of them do we have? If everybody wants to end up with a responsible man, how many are there to go around? You know? So that's also a thing. Because I would have said, let's just marry a responsible man, because at least this woman, all the parts that she held down, the stress and everything, trying to support, because the school fees, she complimented this man in everything. Do you understand? Feeding, she complimented this man in everything. Now there is that support, that whatever is gone. So there are a lot of things that can go wrong, you know, if you are not with the right partner, both man and woman, okay? But if this woman, this second wife who has stepped in now, is kind enough. I keep using kind enough because if she wants to act based on the relationship she had with their mom, she's not going to be kind to these children. You understand? Because there was no relationship, and of course, there was also no relationship between her and the children. You understand? The very least you can do is at least just be cordial with the woman because things like this can happen. You might just have to forget this man sometimes and do the best you can do, with your fellow woman, because no one knows. Voila, no one knows. And it was really deep for me, to be honest. Like this woman that people don't see eye to eye, what to bring her to her house? Nothing. They don't mingle. The children had no business with her. She's now in the one in the same house with your children. If she's a wicked person and she wants to, you know, do something very terrible to these children, they are just like in her fingers right now. She can toss them however she wants. Do you understand? When we think of these things, sometimes I think we'll take life easier. You understand? Will take life easier. I understand that a lot of these men make life very, very difficult, but you just will take it a little easier.